be saying goodbye to Dave tonight, and I must say, I for one am heartbroken about that, because he's such a great musician. I mean, although he loves church music and so on, he's basically a rock and roller at heart, and I've really identified with that. It's been super playing with Dave, a wonderful musician. But more than that, he's deeply Christian. He loves the Lord, he loves the Lord's people, and he loves the Lord's work as well. And that's been a huge blessing as well. I mean, we're going to miss him. I mean, more than I can say. But, of course, our loss is Barnack's gain. But I hope he keeps coming back again and again and again. Love you, Dave. Miss you to bits, but every blessing.
In spite of the snow, and to say thank you to Dave for the time he's been here, his great ministry, sense of humour, and very laid-back style. Oh, and thank you, Dave, for your introduction to the St George's vocabulary of the word stuff. We use it all the while. Thanks, Dave, and every blessing for the future.
I endorse that, Dave, but thank you. You've been a blessing to the church, and we pray that you'll be really blessed in your ministry, both of you, at in the parishes of Barnack and the country village churches.
Well, Dave, as it's come to the end of your season here, I know that when we were told in PCC, it's the only time I've ever wanted to cry because you were leaving, because you've been such a blessing to us as a worship group and to me personally. I have really, really valued your encouragement of my worship leading and preaching, and I just hope that at some stage, maybe we can work together sometime. But I wish you well. I pray God's blessing to you and Kim, and just pray that your ministry will be powerfully used when we go to these parishes, and hope to see you soon.
We've got the bolognese for the pasta and the vegetarian one, and all the pasta already, all the bread already. Just going to make it all up, and hey presto, £35 mince, £20 pasta, and lots of cheese as well.
Dave, very sad to see you go. We'll definitely miss you as part of the Christmas Carol Choir. In fact, we ought to bring you back here for a couple of weeks each year to kick off the Carol service. One thing you need to be aware of, just be aware of the beast of Barnack. I've heard that it's a veritable vicious beast, but if you can avoid that, I hope that you and Kim and the family have a grand time there. Thanks for all you've done here as well. Cheers.
A crying shame you're leaving, Dave. It's been a fantastic few years with you and our house group. In fact, you've almost been with us from the beginning. You've given us a number of things to remember you by, not least that lovely phrase, crooked sticks, to describe the people from the Old Testament that God chose to actually spread his word magnificently. And sometimes you'd have us believe that you're one of those crooked sticks, but you're not. Dave, you're a lovely man, you're a gifted leader, and I hope and pray that your time in Barnack is just filled with blessings for the church and blessings for you and Kim and the rest of the family.
It's been a real privilege to work with both of you on the NTF. I've really enjoyed it, appreciated your great wisdom, your heart for mission, etc. I'd like to say as well how much I've appreciated your preaching. It's been so good to have somebody who's so down to earth. Feet on the ground, unreal. So wish you all the best for the future, and hopefully we will see you.
Where are you? I can't see you at the moment. Are you hiding somewhere? Hiding over at the back. Well, a big thank you to Dave Burnham and Jill Roberts and all the crowd who've been busy today, getting the church sorted out and all the food done. You've done a terrific job. Can we give them a round of applause? And Kim, we've really loved having you with us for the last 5 years. It is almost 5 years to the day, isn't it? It's just over, or just around about there, 5 years. And I remember having surreptitious meetings in Tesco's over at Market Deacon with Dave when he was a vicar over at Spalding, saying, do you fancy coming to work at St George's? Well, you might felt like I don't know, headhunting or something. I don't know. But anyway, we had that, and eventually it all worked out and Dave was able to come. And I'm so grateful today, Kim, for being able to be with us in Stamford for the last 5 years, because Dave, you've been a great colleague, you've been a great person to work alongside. And this is what other people say, but we complement each other. So I think we do too. And I'm so grateful to you, especially when I was away on my sabbatical, you stepping in and leading the church while I was away. You're a great colleague, you're a great musician, and leader of the musicians, and that's just typified by having fun tonight with some other musicians. And Kim, let me say some stuff about you. Your gentleness, your enigmatic smile. And I think Dave and Kim as a couple, you've come with huge experience of family life, with your 5 children. And so I think people have really benefited from you as a couple when you've done parenting courses and things like that, because you've been through real life with, you've been through those teenage years with 5 kids growing up, and it's been real. People have been able to listen to you because you've been there. And again, I want to compliment you both on your marriage. You've been sweethearts since you were 14, I think, and you have a real love for each other as a couple, and that's evident to us all. And so it's been great when you've been able to help share and lead in the marriage course and all those kinds of things. So thank you very much for all you've done there as a couple. And of course, before you even went into ministry, you were in Kenya as a missionary. And that mission museum has been kept fresh at St George's with both of you serving on the missions committee. And we've really appreciated your input there and your reps as Kasizi reps. So I'm sure that you'll be keeping up Kenyan connections when you go over the border to Barnack. And Kim, thinking again, you're not an upfront person in terms of leading services or anything like that, but I want to again say thank you for all those quiet one-to-ones that you've had with people, those chats that you've had with people, because I know they've been helpful. And getting alongside people, noticing when they need somebody to talk to. So thank you for doing all of that. And for your involvement at St George's School. I know it's as a supply teacher and so on, but there's that connection with here and there. And thank you for everything you've done there. There's a verse I read this week in 2 Corinthians, and it's chapter 1, verse 12. And it's Paul writing to the Corinthians, and he says this: "For our boast is this, the testimony of our conscience, that we behaved in the world with simplicity and godly sincerity, not by earthly wisdom, but by the grace of God, and supremely so towards you." And there are 2 words in there that struck me as I read it, and this was to myself the other day, that Paul was saying how he acted towards, as it were, the Corinthians, or acted in the world with simplicity and godly sincerity. And I think those words can be very readily applied to you, Dave and Kim. You've lived amongst us in simplicity and with sincerity. Or simplicity can be translated integrity. Simplicity and sincerity. You've not chased after the things of the world. You have been a challenge to us as a church because of your simplicity in terms of your, I guess, when we look at Stamford and people chasing after material things, you have been, as a couple, I would say, at the stand. Well, we don't have to live like that. We don't have to chase these things, and that's always been. It's been very refreshing to see that working with St George's. So thank you. I know you're going to be a blessing to Barnack as you go there. And because of your simplicity and your sincerity, the simplicity of your life and the sincerity of your faith and your integrity, and that will stand you in very good stead wherever you minister. It stood you in good stead at Spalding, it stood you in good stead here, and I'm confident that you're going to have a good ministry where you're going in Barnack, and of course we want to continue to support you from here.
Moving on from what Alistair said, actually, I first met Dave when I was running an event at my last church in Peterborough. It was about 5 years ago, and I really needed a band sort of last minute, and the guys came and helped me out for the evening, and I had no idea that Dave was actually associate rector, or didn't even know he was ordained. And when I first started coming to St George's, Dave was preaching, and I was sat at the back and I thought,